What's going on YouTube? So on this channel we have reviewed thousands of SUVs. However, as you can probably tell, this is far from the typical SUV. This is the 2025 Aston Martin DBX 707. And today we want to know, is this worth emptying your wallet for? Well, let's go ahead and find out. So let's go ahead and get things started here with the exterior design. Now, obviously, as soon as you walk up to this vehicle, you're gonna know this is an Aston Martin because it's got that signature Aston Martin design. I think it really looks fantastic here in person because that design language really scaled up nicely to the DBX SUV. Now, obviously up here in the front, you do have the largest grille that you can get on any Aston Martin. It's a huge fascia finished in a gloss black. We also have the carbon fiber lower fascia right through here. And overall, like I said, I think it looks fantastic. By the way, the 707 is the only version now offered for 2025 on the DBX. Now, as far as your headlights are concerned, you do have, of course, a full LED arrangement. These do also have animations as well as that signature shape. Your turn signal indicator is located down there. There's not going to be any fog lights or anything, but that, of course, is because we have functional aero all through here. Now, moving on to our wheels, we have massive 23-inch alloy wheels on board with this. I love the way these look with this multi-spoke design and this dark gray finish. You can also get 22s if you prefer. And then most importantly, we do have staggered tire sizes, so you have just absolutely massively wide tires in the back. Also massively huge is going to be our brake calipers. So you have the available carbon ceramic brakes. These are huge. You can finish these calipers in any color that you want. So this is actually going to be color matched to the Synapse orange paint that we have on this model, and it certainly stands out to say the least. Now, as we move above here, we've got carbon fiber accenting. We also have the carbon fiber finish on our mirrors, and this is also a luxury SUV in addition to a performance SUV. So we've got all the features, including power folding and auto dimming on both driver and passenger sides.
Now at this side, you're actually going to notice that this DBX is quite a big SUV. It's about 198 inches long, which makes it about as long as most midsize three-row SUVs. Now, as far as the side design is concerned, beautiful overall look, lots of carbon fiber down here on the lower fascia. All of our window surrounds are going to be fully blacked out, and we even have blacked out roof rails. But now, let's go ahead and head around to the rear design of this DBX. Oh my goodness, I have to say, this has got to be my favorite rear end of any SUV that I've ever seen. It is absolutely gorgeous, and Aston Martin has really made a lot of special elements to give you that overall premium look. So up here at the top, you will notice that we have a ducktail spoiler. Of course, you have some space here to let the air go through, and it's going to be finished in that orange color. We also kind of have a built-in deck lid spoiler through here. And then as far as our taillights are concerned, we have an absolutely beautiful shape to these. They are going to be a full-length LED, and as you can see, we have an LED brake light portion, LED turn signal, as expected. Dropping down to the lower fascia, once again, very aggressive. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but lots of carbon fiber, lots of details going on here. And we also have quad exhaust outlets, which is, of course, very important for an Aston Martin. We have an adaptive exhaust system, so let's go ahead and take a listen. Wow, that sounds fantastic. But you're probably also noticing this right here. We have a tow hitch, and that's actually because this Aston Martin DBX can tow. So that's something you don't expect out of your everyday supercar. It's rated at about 6,000 pounds. Now, it's a luxury SUV in addition to being a supercar, and you are going to have every single safety system as standard equipment on this model. So you'll be able to take this on long road trips and a lot of comfort. But guys, there is a really cool interior waiting for you, so let's dive into that. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
All right, now let's go ahead and check out the interior. First, we'll look at the key fob. We have a beautiful key fob on board. Really nice and solid feeling. This is made of real metal and glass. Like I said, just an absolute gorgeous key fob. And then to get inside, of course, it is a smart entry system. What you do with these flush mount door handles, they don't actually pop out. You just kind of press on the end there and then grab that. That will go ahead and fold your mirrors out as well. All right, now check out this interior. So obviously the theme of this vehicle was to have a lot of orange, but you don't have to have it like this, of course. There's actually really more than 40 different combinations that you can make with this. It's a very, very customizable vehicle. What we have, of course, is a beautiful semi-aniline leather. This is going to go all through our seats. It's really, really soft and supple. Some of the highest grade leather I've ever touched. Aston Martin branding, beautiful stitching. These seats are enormously comfortable as well. And again, highly adjustable down here. You also have memory seats built in as well. And you even have leather all through here. Now we'll get in and talk about the rest of the cabin materials as well. Now I went ahead and got inside here. We're out of the gloom now and in this beautiful interior, and everything that you touch in here is of the highest quality. What a sumptuous cabin this is. So you've got leather literally top to bottom. So leather, 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 all the way down here. We even have a stitched leather over top of our speaker grill. I've never seen that before. That's absolutely gorgeous. Now the only areas that aren't leather, we have carbon fiber, which of course is genuine, and a beautiful metal speaker grill. As we move to the upper dash, you've got more metal speaker grills, more leather all through here. You've got some carbon fiber trim going through here, and then more leather all across this center console. So like I said, literally anything you could bump into is going to be padded with beautiful leather top to bottom. Now we do have a new center console arrangement this year, and we'll go ahead and push the push button start located right here. All right, so let's dig into some individual details here. First of all, we've got a 12.3-inch reconfigurable gauge cluster on board. Graphics are really nice looking. You can change various different features inside of this display to your liking. One thing I am a little surprised about, though, is the fact that we don't have a head-up display. One is not offered on this DBX. Now, taking a look at our steering wheel, what a gorgeous design we have on board. Of course, flat bottom, thick rim, that same wonderful quality leather even on our airbag cover, and then you've got some kind of piano black finishes on the sides with those buttons. The steering wheel itself is power, tilt, and telescoping. We do also have the available heating, and then you got these beautiful and very large paddle shifters back here on the back. Now, let's take a look at some interior storage. So, this is an SUV at the end of the day. Let's see what we have on board. So this does actually lift up in one piece to reveal your center console here. This is quite deep, has a nice felt lining and a couple USB-Cs inside. Both sides of this do adjust forward as well for your arm to rest against. We got a couple cup holders right there, and I do have a little black cover if you want to use that. And then what I'm most impressed to see is the fact that we've got this giant floating center console. This is a great and very versatile space to stick things. And is one of the advantages of having a supercar SUV instead of just a standard supercar. Now, let's take a look over here at our shifter. So this is the nub style shifter. You're just going to pull down for drive. Of course, you have those paddles I was mentioning earlier. Press up for reverse. When you go into reverse, here's our 360-degree camera system. As you can see, you do have active trajectory on board, and you can switch between a few different views there on the side. Of course, when this vehicle was first introduced, you had the shifter that was up there, so this is obviously going to be a much more convenient location down here on the center console. Now, also in this area, you're going to see some controls for your climate. So when you make adjustments to the temperature, right here, you'll see that display up there in the display itself with these cool little rollers. And then here's your fan speed controls. You also have heated and ventilated seats. which are going to be touch sensitive. And then you've got a lot of different controls through here. It kind of reminds me of Mercedes in terms of the overall layout of the buttons, which is not surprising because some of the switchgear and features in here are going to be actually borrowed from Mercedes AMG. Now, over here on this side, we have a volume roller, and you got a couple different audio systems on board. We have the available 23-speaker Bauer & Wilkins sound system. So let's go ahead and give that a sample. Always very, very impressed by Bauer & Wilkins audio systems, and this is no exception. One of the best I've ever heard, so if you grow tired of listening to the V8, you probably won't. But if you do, you still have that beautiful audio system to listen to as well. Now, as we continue on from that area, the next place we come to are, well, some carbon fiber accents around our vents, but what I really want to talk about is our infotainment system. So for 2025, Aston Martin has upgraded this infotainment system. So as you can see, this is going to be a different look to this. The big thing is that this is actually a touchscreen. Previously with this model, you were using a command controller because this was borrowed an old version of Mercedes Command. Now we've got an upgraded touch interface on board. As you can see, you've got built-in navigation on board with your home screen. You can also pair your phone, and you have Apple CarPlay. You don't have Android Auto though, so I can't show you that. Here's what your built-in navigation system is going to look like. And then right here, this is where you're going to find things that are related to the vehicle. So you can go in and change your drive modes or customize which things are inside of your individual drive mode. Up above here, we have a auto-dimming mirror with a frameless design and HomeLink universal remotes. Been talking a lot about leather, and it's still up here on the roof. You don't see this hardly ever. We have leather even across the entire ceiling of this vehicle, the sun visors and everything. It's super, super impressive. And then finally, we've got this one-piece, very large panoramic sunroof. It does not open, but you do have a power sunshade.
And let's check out the backseat area of the DBX. Now, I have to say, this is really a superb place to spend time, and it's really remarkable the fact that it is, because this, of course, is going to have a lot of performance when we take it out on a test drive, which will be coming up very soon, so I won't waste too much more of your time. Now, let's talk about legroom and headroom figures, though. We're looking at 41 inches of legroom and about 40 inches of headroom. Guys, that is really impressive figures. This seat is adjusted to Drew, who is 5'8". I'm 5'9". As you can see, I have some extra knee room. We are in a little bit of a time crunch, so I can't get out all my measuring devices, but just know I'm very comfortable. My feet can slide up underneath of the seat, and these seats themselves I do find to be very nice and supportive, and you're going to even have stuff like Aston Martin branding back here. They haven't cheaped out on any of the details. Now, as far as the controls, here in the center we have vents. We're also going to have our own zone of climate, so it is a 3-zone setup. Heated and ventilated rear seats, which can actually operate at the same time. That's interesting. You have some charging USB ports as well, and this is all going to be wrapped in leather. We also have a 12-volt power outlet underneath of there. Now, as far as other things, we have vents integrated here in the B-pillar. And then, of course, if you turn over to the door trim, we're going to have a really nice one. Leather from top to bottom, just like the front. Carbon fiber, metal speaker grills. And I do really like the fact that we have a frameless window design that really just kind of gives you more of that supercar vibe, even though this is an SUV. And let's go ahead and check out the cargo area. Now, of course, we have a power tailgate, and of course, it's also going to have the hands-free ability. And once this opens up, look how much space you're going to have. That's the beauty of buying a supercar SUV. We have about 22 cubic feet behind the second row of seats. And if we fold those seats down, which they do fold to 40, 20, 40 split folding, that's going to give you 54 cubic feet. So yes, you have plenty of cargo space for any type of road trip that you can go on. Very impressed by how much practicality you're going to have. Now, as far as some of the features, we do have a fully leather-covered cargo cover. Never seen that before. Super thick carpeting. And then as far as some of the buttons, these will fold your second row seats down. So if you just press that, it will go ahead and fold those seats down normally. And then over here on the side, you will find buttons to control your air suspension to make things easier to load in. We also even have our own Aston Martin umbrella. I guess they're taking a page out of the Rolls-Royce book. But without further ado, it's time to take this DBX out on a spin. So let's go ahead and get to it. Well, guys, here we are in the Aston Martin DBX 707, and we are incredibly excited to show you what this vehicle is like to drive. In this test drive, we'll be discussing what you can see on the screen right now, including trying to get our sound level reading. But first and most importantly, let's get a hard acceleration in this DBX 707. Wow.
That is an acceleration right there. Oh my goodness. The whole front end just like lifts up. That was crazy.
What a way to start the morning.
Yeah, that'll wake you up for sure. So, what do we have? Well, under the hood, you have a very special engine. It is a hand-built V8 twin turbo. You have 697 horsepower, not 707. That is going to be your metric horsepower, apparently. Ours translates just a little bit different. Nevertheless, you are dangerously close to 700 horsepower, which is a phenomenal number on board with this. And your 0 to 60 is setting at about 3.1 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, listen to that.
Woo-wee.
Oh yeah, that sounds so good here in the DBX. Like Drew said, incredible performance as well. It's really remarkable, spending some time with the interior of this vehicle and how luxurious it is. It feels amazing. And then to have that level of performance, it almost doesn't even make sense to your brain that you can have the duality of that and, have so much luxury yet so much performance. Oh my gosh.
Brutal acceleration. Wow.
And what an incredible sounding engine. Oh
yes,
my goodness.
It sounds spectacular.
Now, we are in Sport Plus mode, which is of course going to make the active exhaust as aggressive as it can be. But it sounds so good. Now, of course, I'm sure you can completely kind of mute out the engine if you don't want to hear it. We'll talk about that later when we go into like a comfort mode. But for now, I love that it's actually allowing you to hear that beautiful V8 engine note.
Now I clicked it into the manual mode so that we could do some shifting with these beautiful paddle shifters. Now as far as the transmission, we've got a 9-speed automatic transmission. This is a wet clutch, so you have really incredible performance on board. You get lightning fast shifts. As soon as you hit that, it really shifts nice and hard, giving you that firm sensation.
So good.
Got some snarls there and some pops and crackles.
Now, this vehicle will rocket all the way up to a top speed of 193 miles per hour. So, if you happen to be driving on the Autobahn and, can actually hit that top speed, here in the U.S., certainly you would get very much arrested before you ever get to that
Yeah, we
speed.
won't be doing that in this video
No,
today.
Not going to be happening. I do also want to point out all-wheel drive is standard. So, as you can see, this vehicle is easily able to put down nearly 700 horsepower, and that's because all-wheel drive standard. You also have a limited slip diff, as you would expect. So even under, it's been raining a little bit this morning, even under some wet conditions, you have really the ability to put the power down at no problem whatsoever.
Now we're coming into a curvier section of our drive route right now, and even though we're not going to hit it going 193 miles an hour, we can still discuss our dynamics. So one of the things that's noteworthy about the 2025 model is the fact that they've actually retuned the chassis. So they're, kind of improving the dynamics a little bit and just kind of, refining that overall handling characteristic. I have to say, obviously, very impressed by this. It really does feel like you're driving a sports car versus a sports SUV. It maintains control over the body really, really well. So as we go around this sweeping corner, not much body roll at all. Steering really nice and responsive. It's going to be lightweight when you're in some of the lower drive modes, but have a little bit more heft when you're in the Sport Plus mode like we are right now.
Yeah, and I have to say, even here in Sport Plus mode, which... Of course, you do stuff like that in Sport Plus mode, but sitting here in the passenger seat, because we have an adaptive air suspension as standard equipment, it really isn't all that uncomfortable, even while you're able to have that driving ability. It's really absolutely fantastic that that is the case with this vehicle, because even here in Sport Plus mode, I really don't think it's that uncomfortable, and we're riding on 23s on the outside. All right. So let's go ahead and cycle it into GT, which is Grand Touring Drive mode. And I want to take a second here to discuss ride quality, because really the reason that you buy a DBX is because you want the supercar performance and, of course, a lot of other elements that are very nice, but you also want some practicality and to be able to live with it on the daily. And I have to say, here with this DBX, I've been nothing but impressed. Like I already mentioned, even in Sport Plus mode, the suspension is really not that harsh, and in Comfort mode, it gets even better because we do have that air suspension as standard equipment. So just kind of cruising along the road here, you do feel some slight road imperfections entering into the cabin. 23-inch wheels are absolutely massive. You have endless customizability, so if ride quality is really of the utmost importance to you, I would maybe suggest getting a smaller wheel, but I don't think this is bad at all. It actually rides very similar to a lot of other luxury SUVs that we've been in.
Right. At the end of the day, you choose this, as we've been talking about through the video, as pretty much an alternative to a supercar, but you have the extra utility and the extra everyday livability. I mean, guys, you can even take this off-road because you can raise the suspension into a elevated setting, and yes, technically this can go off-road. Now, I wouldn't take it on too intensive a trail, but
yeah,
this does have the ability, say you've got maybe a cabin down a gravel road, you can take this realistically down that gravel road, not feel guilty about it, because you've got the ability to, do that and basically handle your everyday situations is what I'm trying to say.
Now, as far as fuel economy is concerned, it's not going to be fantastic, but maybe not as bad as you would expect. It's coming in at 17 miles per gallon. Of course, it is going to be running on premium fuel, but we're speeding up to about 55 miles per hour, and once we're able to actually maintain that speed, we'll go ahead and get our sound level reading. Okay, and we have it on fan speed 1, and we're going 55. We're getting a reading of 63 decibels, which I do think sounds a little bit high. The thing about it that I do want to point out is that we are in Washington State, and they have very different road surfaces here as compared to our normal testing in Kentucky. These roads are way louder. So every car that we've been testing out here has been testing a lot louder. Just from our experience, just sitting in here today, I have to say this is a pretty quiet vehicle. I wouldn't say it's like the quietest SUV that we've ever been in, because of course you can still hear that lovely V8, which is something that you're wanting. But Aston Martin has done a good job of making this everyday livable, and with that, you do have a pretty quiet cabin, especially if you turn the engine, noise down by putting it in the Grand Touring mode, and just the active exhaust, turn that off. It's not overwhelmingly loud, but it can be if you want it to be.
Yeah, this is really surprisingly docile in the Grand Touring mode. Easy to drive slow, just go through the city here without speeding. I can't really hear the engine much at all, just like that pleasant little snarl letting you know you do have that power on tap if you need it.
And I think that's got to be today's slam dunk. That's something we do in all of our car configurations reviews, is slam dunk and airball, our favorite and least favorite element. And that dual character and duality of this DBX, I think, has easily got to be the slam dunk, because you have just so much performance and so much luxury if you just want to ride around in comfort.
Yeah, we're just so impressed that it's able to do this many different things so well.
And as far as airballs are concerned, there's really not much to airball. This is a really fantastic product, really from start to finish. I guess the only thing that I could mention is the fact if you're maybe cross-shopping like a DBX versus another flagship luxury SUV from like a Mercedes or BMW brand, you're going to notice that some of the technology in here, even though it has been updated, is just not quite as good as some of those flagships. And comparing it to an X7 Alpina or something like that, it's going to have better technology. As far as your warranty, you do have a 3-year basic and powertrain warranty with unlimited coverage. And how much is all of this going to cost? Well, it's not going to be cheap. You didn't click on this video thinking it would be affordable. So we're going to start at just a hair under $250,000 for the DBX 707 this year. Now, of course, everything is customizable. So we'll do our best to build one that's equivalent to this and give you a reference point for how much this particular tester is, but expect to be paying probably around $300,000 when you add in a couple options, because every option is going to be expensive, including the destination charge, which is a $4,000 destination. Now, if you're looking to buy an Aston Martin DBX or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, the reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. And guys, that's going to be it for our in-depth review of this new 2025 Aston Martin DBX 707. Now, of course, this is a fantastic vehicle, and if you enjoyed watching this review, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, not only are you going to allow us to get more opportunities like this where we can be one of the first people to sample this new DBX, you're also going to get more car reviews, not just on this supercar, but also on mainstream vehicles as well. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.